Grenadian fishermen and divers have expressed their interest in exporting what we locally call lambi, or internationally known as conch. However, they are hindered by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, to which Grenada is a signatory. Farmers and fishers representative in the Senate, Roderick St. Clair, addressed the issue on GBN's Silver Point program on Friday.
Lambi, or conch, is considered an endangered species under Appendix 2 in the Convention, that is not necessarily threatened with extinction but may become so if trade is not tightly controlled. 80% of legal internationally traded conch is consumed in the United States. However, Grenada cannot export lambi or conch as the prerequisite to enter in such an industry has not been met locally. Senator Roderick St. Clair says the first step is to engage in a study that determines the quantity or stock of conch in Grenadian waters.
And we provide that data because it's an international treaty which we belong to, so we have to treat properly so that you don't find I exporting 2,000 pounds of conch to, say, the UK or someplace like that, and they hold the conch and say, oh, Grenada, you are signatory to this thing. How come you're breaking the agreement? But if you do your research and do your data collection, you can say, okay, my levels is 5 million conchs. So they say, okay, well, maybe you can harvest 50% of it, and then you may even go into a closed season, open season, based on the reproductive schedule, etc.
St. Clair says strict management of the stock must then be followed with no leeway for overfishing. He says local divers are hugely interested in the export of such a highly valued product. Senator St. Clair says, though the Ministry of Forestry is the focal point for endangered species of flora and fauna, the Fisheries Division can act with support from the Marine Biology Department at St. George's University.
But what is strange about that, Blossom, is that through my reading, I realized that the UNCTAD, and UNCTAD is the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, they, in association with our OECS desk, OECS Secretariat, that's a big institution, has a project that involves Grenada and St. Lucia to look at the whole issue of maximizing the benefits and the trade, they call it the biotrade and the blue economy, regarding conch and sea moss.
The senator says conch would be valuable to Grenada's export market, together with sea moss and fish, bringing in millions of dollars to the country. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
To further crunch this issue tonight is farmers and fisherfolk representative in the Senate, Roderick St. Clair. Welcome and thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you so much for having me, and good night to our listeners and viewers.
It's a pleasure. Fisher folks' call for measures to be put in place to enable them to export lambi have been ongoing for years. Is government doing enough or anything to make this potentially lucrative initiative a reality?
I would say no, because through my research, again, I say I'm new to this, but I'm doing my research because of the call from the fisher folks. Sometime since in 1996, actually, there was a big conference to look at the whole state of affairs. They call that trade analysis on the whole issue of queen conch. And to date, actually, I want to find out from Grenada, where are we? What's our status? And in fact, one of the reports I saw out of 2003 speaks that Grenada, along with some other smaller countries within the Caribbean, is what they refer to as possible concern. So, which means that from my readings, it's not that we are banned. It's saying that there are a few things that we need to do, and there is a schedule as to some of the recommendations that we have to do. And so, from my end, I would like to know from the government and the competent authority, are you aware of the schedule? And what have we done about the schedule? What are the limiting factors to it? Because we need to be accountable to our citizens. And so this is a very important initiative, because we are speaking blue economy, we are speaking jobs, we are speaking employment. And so the question is, what are we doing? I know the fishing sector is the number one export owner for Grenada in terms of agriculture. So, government, we are calling on you to say, what have you done? Where are we today? What is the next steps? And this I will table through some various questions to the government in short order.
Right. And in your capacity as senator representing farmers and fisherfolk, what is being done by you to push this initiative, bearing in mind the high level of unemployment among the population, which worsened with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, where all, including those you represented, are affected?
Yeah, well, one of the first things is credit sensitization. I think that's what we are doing now. And we are doing that since our joint consultation with the Ministry of Fisheries since on February 18th, when the whole picture came to light. And so all of this discussion we are having here is important. I also will continue my dialogue with the divers who are involved in this process so that they themselves can add more value to the conversation. And of course, I need to engage the government from two angles, from the point of the parliament and also from the point of the ministry. I must say, and I always need to say this, that the cooperation, the coordination, the discussion has been very cordial between myself as a senator and the ministries. So it is a matter of sitting down with them and say, let us see what needs to be done. We know there are challenges and we may see how can we solve those problems. As I say, we need to look at partners. For example, St. George's University, we need to ask maybe the FAO if we need technical assistance and let us go for it. If we do nothing, nothing will happen. And so we have thousands or hundreds of divers, and even the younger ones who want to maybe go into that profession, they lose an opportunity. So I say, government, let's go for it.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Our guest, farmers and fisherfolk representative in the Senate, Roderick St. Clair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And good night. Have a good weekend to you and all the listeners and viewers.
And to you. Good night. And now we turn our attention to what has been